So when we were in Tuba City, Rachel threw the dart, and the dart landed between Pratt and Cunningham, Kansas. Well, when we looked on the map, that was Cunningham. So we made our way to Cunningham, and it's a small town of about 400 people. And there was a restaurant, and we went into it and found the owner. And her name is Ruth. And we met Ruth and had such a wonderful visit with her, and immediately knew the reason why the dart had landed in Cunningham. And that evening we had dinner with Ruth and her daughter, Adrian, and had such a sweet visit with them, and just learned about their hearts, learned about the love between a mother and daughter. So Ruth works 3 jobs for her and her daughter. She owns a restaurant in Cunningham named Palominos. She also has a cafe inside the Cell Barn here in Pratt, Kansas, as well as is over the food at the country club here in Pratt. So Ruth works hard for her and her daughter, and we just had such a sweet time. But what I loved about Ruth and her daughter Adrian both is when we asked them the question, what has God shown you just here recently? And it was like they simultaneously said the word trust. He's taught us trust. So today, I thought I'd go downtown in downtown Pratt, and went into a little coffee shop and walked in, and it was just the cutest little coffee shop. It's called In Cahoots in downtown Pratt, Kansas. I met George, a precious lady who owned the coffee shop, and I said, you have just the loveliest, quaintest little coffee shop here. And she said, well, thanks, I'm usually not here. I've been going through chemo and battling cancer, but I'm doing better. But the chemo had just about wiped her out, so she was going for another type of treatment today and was not able to visit with me long. But in our conversation, she said that not only was she battling cancer right now and going through treatments, that her daughter was as well. Her daughter had just had a baby and found out that she had a brain tumor right after the baby was born. What she said to me is, you know, it's as much as my daughter's going through, she's been so much support for me, and I've been so much support for her, and it's like, you know, the Lord is allowing us to walk through this journey together. She said, you know, I don't know what people do without their faith in God. So I was able to pray with George, and it was such a precious time with her, getting to pray for her. I came back to the RV park and got to visit with the owner, and her name is Lynn. And I just said, Lynn, tell me your God story. And she said, oh my goodness, there's so many of them. And she just started opening up about what all the Lord had done in her life. And it was so encouraging to me. You know, when we came to Cunningham, you know, of course we thought we would be videoing, and it's been interesting how every lady that I've met, we were not able to video for one reason or another. You know, they were, you know, George was going to her treatment, and Lynn was busy working, and Ruth was so busy, you know, working 3 jobs for her and her daughter. And it just didn't work. And I have to tell you, I was a little bit frustrated and questioning God. But I do know this, that God allowed me to pray with these women. I got to hear the stories of what God is doing in their lives. You know, on those days that don't work out like you think they were supposed to, and on those days that you feel discouraged and you think, this is not how I want it to go, God. and I really need you to fix it. God always has a purpose in everything. So we just have been blessed by being here in Cunningham, Kansas. The weather is coming in, or we would stay a few more days, but there's a huge winter storm coming in. We'll be loading up in the morning and heading out of Kansas. But until the next time,